hear me? Can you hear me? Or was I muted? I was muted. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. So can you hear me now? Yeah, good. Typing it. Okay, good. Okay, so I did all of that and nobody could hear anything that I was saying. All right, so again, it would not be us if we didn't have some kind of technical difficulty going on. But listen, thank you again for tuning in. Now, I want to first give a thank you, Jenny Key. I appreciate it. Thank you. We're good to go now. So first of all, I want to welcome you to season 3, episode number 4 of Unmuted. I am super excited about tonight's topic, what we have going on. I appreciate you all tuning in. Listen, my tech guy, my son, I have to give a big shout out to him. Unfortunately, tonight, he did not want to be in studio with me. He's remoted in, and I'm trying to run everything by myself with him remoted in. So major shout out to my son, Titus Franklin. You all can follow him on Instagram. I'm see T.Franklin8. TJ Sports is his other Instagram handle. He's an athlete, but he is all things computer. Major shout out. Let me hit this YouTube. Make sure that's going. See, he leaving me to handle all this by myself tonight. All right. So again, thank you all for tuning in. I'm super excited about tonight's show. I'm always excited, but I'm really excited about tonight's guest. We tried to get him on a few times, and everything for such a time as this. Everything happens at the right time. Tonight is the right time. It's the right series. I am super excited. I am Felicia Franklin. I am your host, your moderator, your favorite social butterfly, whatever it is you want to call me. Thank you for tuning in to Unmuted. For all of the people that rocked it with us for season 1, season 2, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those that are tuning in for the very first time, we appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now with season 3, we're starting a new little segment, little mini segment at the beginning of the show called Let's Talk About. I like to talk about something local. I like to talk about something statewide, and I like to talk about something national. We are here in Montgomery, Alabama. So I'm going to give you something local to our area, something a little bit statewide, and then something that's nationally trending. And I appreciate you all for tuning into this. So now let's check this out. So, previous episodes, I talked about the pandemic, the vaccine crisis, and all of that, and whatever. I don't really want to go that route. Last week, I wanted to give a major shout out to some of the high schools for doing their thing. Those fellas that are out there on the football field doing their thing and their passion, following their first love. Tonight, I want to give a couple of shout outs to and talk about some local things. And one person in particular, I have no idea who she is, but she just kind of caught my eye because it's like a little trending topic. So that's what Let's Talk About is. So first and foremost, my local little shout out tidbit. I want to give a major shout out to Eric Morris. So now, it goes along with the Black Men Thrive series tonight. Eric Morris, he's actually a friend of mine. He's a military brother. He's a master sergeant in the Air Force Air National Guard, and he is an entrepreneur. He's doing this thing in the military, but he started this brand called Kooleyo. Now, if you all see, I've rocked a few of his pieces. He does customized pieces or whatnot. Now, he put this little gem together for me tonight that I'm wearing. It's Kooleyo, so I'm repping the brand. He did it to my liking, my specification. Let me see if I can get you in with the pants. How can we do this? Yeah, he got the little, and then the little, I don't know how well you can see that, but you know. And I want to give a major shout out to Eric Morris. Now you can find him on, let's see, Kooleyo Collections on Instagram. That's Kooleyo with a K, Kooleyo. Collections, Kooleyo Collections on Instagram. You can catch him on Facebook, same thing, Kooleyo Collections on Facebook. Also, Kooleyo collections@gmail.com. Kooleyo Collections is his brand. Check out his website, see what else he has going on. Hold on, I think I got his website on here too. on this card. No worries. What I will do, I will drop everything in the comments to make sure everything, you all get it. Patronizing. This is a young black man doing this thing, getting his line, his brand together. I mean, he got some nice pieces if you want to check out his website. I want to say thank you, big major shout out for coming through with the come through for my apparel and, and I'm rocking or whatnot. Please, by all means, patronize this young man. Now, this is a young black man that's doing this thing. He's serving his country in the Air Force, Air National Guard. He's also, started his own entrepreneurship business with, his brand, some of the other pieces. You want to check him out online. So major shout out to Eric Morris, Kooleyo Collections. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, let me see if I can get this next thing right. So, I'm saved, but I like trap music. If anybody know me, know that I love music. I sing, I do my thing. So I listen to what the kids are listening to see what's out there. And I was on Instagram, and this young lady, she caught my ear. So let me see if I can pull this up so you all can hear what I heard and tell me what you think. Now, this is a back and forth, so you can talk to me in the comments as well. I want to say thank you to Yolanda Govan, Jeannie Kidd, the people that are tuned in that I can see have commented. Thank you for sharing. I see you. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. So let me see if I can put this clip up. Now, I don't know this young lady. I just thought that she was doing a thing.
And I used to think that I wasn't wild enough, but I won't waste my time trying to figure out why you're playing games. What's this all about? And I can't believe you're hurting me. I made sure, girl, what a difference. What you see that you ain't seen in me, but I guess it was all just to make believe. Oh, love.
All right, so her name is Mackenzie. Now, again, I don't know this young lady. I just so happened to see it on Instagram where she shared it from a TikTok. She did a cover of Keisha Cole's Love. And if you go on her Instagram page or if you're on TikTok and you follow, now she's doing a thing. So I want to say major shout out to Mackenzie. Let me get her. She's on Instagram at It's Mackenzie, MAKENZIET. TikTok, It's Mackenzie, It's MAKENZIETW. She has a website. You can go on the Instagram page. You can go on a TikTok and follow and see some of the covers and everything. Now, look. Hey, the girl is good. The girl is good. That cover was hitting. So I want to say major shout out. We have to uplift. We have to, we have to uplift everyone in everything that we're doing. We want to support everyone because, hey, we want someone to support us. When something sounds good, when something looks good, when something is good, we want to congratulate those people, give a major shout out. So that's my trending topic on Let's Talk About Mackenzie. You did your thing. I don't know you, but you did your thing. Kooleyo, thank you so much for the apparel. You're doing your thing. Everyone patronize. And so we're going to get this thing started. Now we did a little trending topic on Let's Chat, Let's Talk About. Let's get into this episode. So UnMuted. What is UnMuted? For those of you that have watched episodes of UnMuted before, you've probably heard my introduction. But for those of you who are new and you don't know how UnMuted was birthed, what exactly UnMuted is, then I want to give you a brief little background of UnMuted. UnMuted started, it was supposed to be one episode. It wasn't even supposed to be an episode. It was really going to be just me going live one time. But it was something that I had worked on behind the scenes for a while. A couple of years actually, and I didn't have a title for it. I just had something in my spirit that that I really wanted to do, but I felt muted. I was muted by the hurt. I was muted by the rejections. I was kind of muted by the life relationships. And that's what I call, we all go through life relationships. Life happens to us all, and certain things can stifle us, certain things can mute us, certain things can make us go into isolation. So it was during my time of that I felt stuck. It was during the time that I felt alone. I felt ashamed of my past. I had went through some things that I believed that I never would make it through, get over. And in my heart, I held on to those things. And those things really weighed me down. I didn't look like what I had been through. I didn't look like some of the things that I had gone through in my life. And because I didn't look like it and people knew me on the outside, but didn't know a lot of the things that I had gone through in my past, those things held me, those things stifled me. They kind of held me to, I don't know. They kind of held me to this thing where I felt that I was ashamed. I felt that I would be judged if I talked about some of the things that I had gone through in my life, because people around me did not know those things and they had a perception of me. And if they knew what I had really gone through, I was worried about how they would look at me, how they would perceive me. And those things muted me. Those things that I held on deeply muted because of the hurts and because of the pains that I couldn't release. Those things muted me. And I will often pray to God and ask God, why me? Why did I have to go through the divorce? Why did I have to be the one that was adopted? Why did I have to go through this hurt? Why did I have to go through this pain? All of the things that I had gone through in my life, I will constantly ask God, why me? Why me? Why me? But then I got my answer. And I stopped asking God, why me? And I started saying, well, why not me? See, I started realizing that some of the things that I had gone through, some of the things that I had gone through and grown through were the very things that some people had taken their lives because they couldn't get through. They couldn't get over. They couldn't get up out of that state of depression. They couldn't get up out of that feeling of being stuck. And so I realized that a part of my purpose was to no longer be muted, but to voice some of the things that I had gone through, because some of the things that I had grown through could help someone else get through. And that's what we're supposed to do. Now, some of the topics that we go through and we talk about are not all my situations. Sometimes people talk about some things on the show, that they're not exactly ready to come out and come forward, but they respect me enough and they're close enough to me to tell me those things and give me the permission to maybe talk about those things, not maybe using their names, but putting it out there so other people could understand. They're not ready and open enough to come out with it, but they want their story told. So maybe not every story is about me. Maybe every episode is not about me, but it's someone that I'm close to or someone that has gone through some things and someone else may need to hear it. Unmuted may not be for everyone, but I guarantee you it's for someone. Someone knows someone somewhere that some topic that we discuss on Unmuted will hit home and someone may need it. Now, that brings us to the Black Man Thrive series. Now, I'm going to get to that in just a little bit, but I want to thank you all for tuning in. I present to some and I introduce to others Unmuted. This is season 3. This is episode number 4. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the ones that has rocked it with us every single episode in the other previous seasons. And I want to thank you again. Now, all right, so I'm running from a couple of different platforms, and I want you to know my little disclaimer. I am here for you. I am tuned to you. I can see your comments and I can see everything that you're saying. This is a dialogue. We can go back and forth. You put in the comments and we probably gonna talk about it depending on the screen. Now I am running a couple of different platforms, so you might see me looking to the right or to the left because I'm trying to make sure everything is going on the different platforms. We are now on the Unmuted podcast. Please check us out on Spotify. You can look it up. We are also on YouTube. Go on to YouTube. What did they say? Like, share, subscribe, something like that. Check us out on YouTube. We're also on Facebook Live under Unmuted. Thank you for tuning in. Now, I want to get started with tonight's episode because I do have to give a gab, but I really want to talk about what we're supposed to be talking about on tonight. So I have a guest on tonight. His name is Jameze Hinton. Now, he goes by Loomis Brinks on Facebook. I might be jacking it up because I never asked him. I just tagged him and everything. But he good with me. I'll let him discuss that. All right. So I'm gonna give a brief little bio on him, and then I'm gonna bring him on. He's sitting in queue right now. I'm gonna bring him on, and I'm gonna let him further expound on himself because I believe no one can talk about you better than you can talk about you because you know you better than anybody else. So I want to say what I do know about him is um, I kind of started following him through a relative of his, and she would always post his apparel line. And I was like, man, I like that, ground up media. I like what he's doing there. So I just sent a message, asking about him or this or that. I kind of started following him. I ordered a piece or two or whatever, and tried to really get to know and see what he was all about because I had seen her sharing it a lot. Now he's a serial entrepreneur, his words, and he's all about building up and become effective in the community. I'm all for that. And aside from his gum ownership, that's ground up media, gum, he indulges in graphic design, web design, business cards, specializations, and he partners with Macroys Corbett of Dothan. Now, I'm familiar with Macroys Corbett, the printing company and everything in Dothan. I actually used to work for his father, rest in peace, when years and years ago when we lived in Dothan, cleaning buildings and whatnot. Little small fun fact there. He has some more on here about the things that he does, but I'm gonna bring him on now. I'm gonna let him expound a little bit more into what he does, who he is, and we're gonna get started with this episode. Black Man Thrive.
Yo.
What's good? What's good? Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so you can hear me good. You can see me good.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good deal, good deal. So now, thank you for man, listen. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your yes.
Thank you
I
for having
appreciate
me.
it.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
more than
Yes.
welcome, more than
Made
welcome.
good.
All right, so check this out. So I gave a little brief bio of you as you can hear, but I want you
Right.
to tell the people who you are, a little bit more about you before we get into this episode.
Right. My name is Jameze Hinton from the small big town Kooleyo, Alabama. That's where I originated. As you had mentioned, Loomis Brinks, you had it right. That's my social personality, and I just took that on because on that pursuit of wealth, you have to put yourself in that mindset. You think
Right.
you are as you think. And yeah, aside from Gum, which is Ground Up Media, Gum is a broadcasting media production company. We create original, authentic content that inspires and encourages our audience, our clientele, and just the people who engage with us, and all forms of all sorts of mediums in which we put that out, whether it be the apparel, whether that be our vlogs, blogs, video, music. So it's no limit to that. And again, I do partner with McRoyce. This is a small world, and
Right.
McRoyce is a magnificent person. But yeah, I partner with McRoyce at Computer and etc. I'm into the graphic design, the web design, business card specialization, uh, and all the sorts of your printing needs for your business, small business, medium business, large business, all
Very
business.
nice.
And that's it in the gist. Serial entrepreneur. So everything that I can that involves the build up, I'm down. I'm down for the build up. We have two choices in
Yeah.
life. Either to build or destroy. And I choose to build.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So hold that thought. I like to take notes. I didn't
Okay.
grab a
I
pen.
got my pad. Yeah, I got my pad too.
Listen, I didn't grab a pen, but I already got two things I need to write down.
Got you. Major shout out to everybody that's tuning in, from Unmuted's audience to the Gum audience, the fam, everybody that's tuning in. I hope everybody's built up today, been building up, still building up, going forward, having a excellent, wonderful, magnificent week, and all those great things.
Yes, and we ready to get it started. Thank you,
Yeah.
Major. Thank you. I mean, I see your people They tagging people,
Yeah, we
it's a
tapping in.
good
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's a
We
good
we
thing. That's
we
a
like the
good thing. It's
bill.
all about support. One of my main things is what love does, and that's love. When you're building up and you're building up someone else. So thank you to everyone that's tuning in tonight. Now let's get started with this with Black Men Thrive. So now the gist of this series is to put a spotlight on the black man.
Right.
We have conferences and we have, workshops and everything for women and for black women. But I wanted to take the time to promote and put another perspective to the black man, not
Right.
knocking any other, ethnicity, any other culture, any other race, or gender, just putting another perspective of the black man out there. So
Right.
we have, we often hear, especially nowadays, we're losing a generation. Younger men that are coming up, we're losing a generation because this or that, and I mean, there's a lot going on. The you know the the crime rate is at an all-time high. You
Right.
got, I mean, it was like, I don't know, in Montgomery, it seems like every WSFA alert I get, there's been a murder or a shooting or
Yeah.
something. But I do believe that this generation wants real. They want real. Sometimes we can be so saved that we forget where we came from. We forget what we used to be. We forget the things that we used to do. And a generation now, they're looking at us like, yeah, you saved it and that's good, but are you dealing with the things, and did you have to deal with the things that, we used to, deal, that we're dealing with right now, and you weren't always in church. And I think it's important for us to even let a generation know, I wasn't always in the church, and
Right.
I wasn't always here, and I wasn't, always at a point where I had arrived. I did this or I did that, and I came from here and I came from there. And not just a generation that's coming up right now, but the generation of a now, like our generation or a
Right.
generation right behind us. See, one thing I've learned, working in the prison system, I started back in DOC back in 2009. So working in the prison system as a CO and then promoted to sergeant and then promoted to investigation and intelligence, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of men. I worked in the male prison, I worked in the female prison, and I've seen them come in at all different ages. And
Right.
everyone in prison is not dumb. You got some very intelligent
It,
men and women that are in prison.
yes.
Sometimes we have men, and there are men right now that are our age or a generation that came before us. They're stuck in their past situation. They feel like they can't get past what they've gone through and it's over with for them. But everybody didn't come from squeaky clean backgrounds. Everybody
Right.
didn't grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth. You know what I
As
mean?
they say. Right.
Everybody didn't have an inheritance or have it laid out for them. They had to get out there and get it. They had to work for it. Everybody didn't have that inheritance. It's up to some of us to start that inheritance. You know what I mean?
Right.
To leave that inheritance for our children. So what
Right.
I want to talk about is, you know, just because you might not have come from a squeaky clean background, or just because everything wasn't laid out smooth for you, you
Right.
can still get it.
Right.
It might have to start from you. So I want to start off with talking about, where you came from.
Right.
And then we're going to transition into where you are. But, let some people know I didn't start here. This is where I came from. So what led you? What was your motivation? What
Uh,
what gave you your grind?
I think really love has always been like my drive, and that stems mostly from my grandmother, who's she's the foundation for Gum. Um, but my story is coming, single parent household. Me and my brother, my mother gave us everything she could. We were surrounded by love. My aunts, uncles. Um, I mean it. I'm just at that point now where you can look back on your past in the sense of analysis, but you will learn that those things they really didn't hinder you. It was just a matter of your perception at that time, and just you change when you're exposed to different information, education, and it's not just school that's giving you education; it's life that's giving you education. Right. But so just coming from that, coming up, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. It was just go to college. I was pretty tech savvy, so I was working with the computers. I thought I wanted to be an engineer, computer scientist of some sort. And then just as life went on, I think just naturally I started attaining that entrepreneurial spirit, and I got into gum around 2016 was the setting stone for gum, and I got introduced to gum just by being passionate in music. I didn't know that you also you played the music. I would have put you on some Genie Kid. He had some nice music, and maybe we can share that later on.
Okay.
But so from music came gum. We started with simple t-shirts, gum on the chest. It was just a basic block design, and we just started rocking it. At that time, it wasn't even ground up, building from the ground up. It didn't have the full passion behind it, but it was something that we believed in, and it garnered attention. It gained traction. The family was in full support, which was very major, and it became prominent in our local community. And so now our pursuit is the world, the world, Craig. But so that's really it in the gist. I mean, it's kind of like it's a common story in our community. It's really nothing that's just like, oh man, it's kind of like the similarities that we all face, like Black men, and like you said, sometimes we may attempt to compare ourselves to other people's lives, and I don't think materialism is a metric in which we should judge somebody's success. So, does that mean that person is on the right route because they drive a Benz or they have a large house? I don't think so personally. I don't think that means that they're the ultimate person to mimic, or they're exemplifying the right actions. And that's nothing against the people who have nice things, because in a sense we all aspire for nice things. I think that's fair in life. But I don't think those are that's the metric. It's like just being effective in the position that you're in now, being present in where you are now, and appreciating what you have. And I think the first thing we should appreciate is life, being able to wake up to another day. That in itself is something that we overlook. And for a long time, I overlooked that, just another day, like, oh, it's another day. Nah, man, it's another day to really make it happen.
Okay, let me okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, good.
Did it cut off?
Yeah, it's telling me something strange. Long as you can hear me, somebody in the comments, let me know if you can hear me or not. We should be good. Okay, so I like what you said. It's kind of a common story, in the community.
Right.
It was nothing major or groundbreaking. It was just basically kind of life. You know what I mean? Like your story is no different from anyone else's story. Your perception just may have been a little bit different. I mean, because single family households or single parent households are kind of common right now. I mean, I'm raising a son.
That's what I'm saying. It is at that time, I'm as you come up, you're not looking at those, you're not really just like analyzing that, but then you'll look at it and like I said, coming from a very sound foundation, we were I guess the word covered, you know what I'm saying? But like I feel like that masculinity is necessary.
Especially in the home.
we lack it major in our communities. You know, I go and that's kind of like a tangent I've been on. Like, there are no OGs. People quick to call themselves an OG, but like, what makes you an OG? You know, just because you in age and you told them young boys to go out there and, you know, chase them girls.
But so one thing that I'm glad you brought that up, you know, because we talked about that offline before. You know what I hear a lot um from teenagers right now, because I deal with have a mentor program, and I deal with a lot of teenagers and adolescents, you know, and young adults or
Right.
whatnot. They're not looking at the so-called OGs as OGs because some of them feel like they're making more money than the OG.
Right. Because it's not what you say, it's what you do
It's
that they're
what
gonna
you
follow.
do. And that takes me back to what I previously said. You know, this generation wants real. You know, they want that entrepreneurship. That's why the TikTok and Instagram and the YouTube, that's why those things are taking off so much. And it's a lot of young people behind it because they're willing to step out on something that some of us aren't willing to
Yeah,
step
you
out
never
on.
gonna take that risk. Yeah.
Exactly, but they feel like it's all or nothing. They rather, you know, put it all in and try and fail than to not try at all. But we
Right.
have a generation right now that are feeling stuck in their situation. You know, I know some guys you hear, oh, well, I can't do this because she got me on child support, and because I'm on child, I gotta pay this, so I can't get ahead. But that's an excuse, because if you really want it, you will get out there. Now, everybody's situation is the same, and I'm not bashing anybody or, you know,
Right.
or anything. But I
Okay.
feel if you really want it, you'll find a way.
You'll go, yeah, you'll find a solution.
You'll find a solution.
Just as you are able to talk about the problem, you're able to talk about or talk out the solution.
Exactly. So you took someone, and I want to talk about, because you said in 2016, and I wrote down 2016, and here
Yeah.
we are in 2021. I feel like sometimes we live in a microwave generation where if it doesn't
Instant
happen
gratification.
overnight, then they're ready to give up. So
Right.
what gave you, and I know it hasn't been a decade yet, but what gave you staying power? What gave you the motivation to keep on, even if it didn't move like you wanted it to move in the beginning?
Right.
But it's like a scripture says, do not despise humble beginnings.
Right.
That's a major thing. Do
Right.
not despise humble beginnings. What gave you staying power? What can you drop to someone else that is trying to start a business right now? And maybe they're 3 years in the game, and or even on YouTube, and they got 2 views, and it's been 2 years and it still hasn't caught the traction. Or maybe they started with a t-shirt line, and they've only sold to 2 people, and that was their mom and their aunt. Give me something that led you to hold on to that grind, that kept pushing you, that some other man might need to hear.
Believing in yourself, staying consistent, and just being intentional, being fully involved or fully indulging in that in which you're partaking in. So it's like, whether it be the t-shirt brand, whether it be the music, whatever sort that you're into, I think the universe will it'll let you know. And so that, to answer that question, it's not like I haven't gone through those emotions, like giving up, being frustrated, confused,
As we
just
all do.
exhausted. But I just kept going. Like, I didn't stop. I believed in myself. I believed in the brand. And then it would be times like I said, I'd be in that mood, and it would just be something that would come and just give me the fuel. Like, somebody will chime in, hey man, I love what you got going, such and such, I need this, or so many orders are coming in at a time. And so it's just those things that just happen organically,
Mhm.
that would keep me upbeat. It would be times my wife would, give me some. I'm like, oh, thanks. Like, just and I and I like to say that in my life. Sometimes, like, we think that people may need like monetary things, or you know, something just major that you have to pull from yourself to give to them. But sometimes it could be something as simple as just saying, hey man, keep going. Hey man, keep building. Hey, I see what you're doing, man. Just keep going. Just offering some positive energy, and that could be a major, that can majorly affect their life. You know,
A
like,
little
hey,
bit of motivation.
I needed it, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know who's looking at you, listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like just giving out that positive energy. But just in short, just stay consistent, stay positive, and be intentional. And if it's because there have been times where I've hit bumps, but because I stayed consistent, I got on the right track. I was constantly calibrating, buffering, you know. So
Yeah, we do get in that buffering stage.
and you just keep going.
Yeah,
You just keep
yeah.
going.
So we talked about, excuse me. So we talked about before, you know, one of the groups that you're in, and how a group of men gather together,
Yeah.
and you know that's bringing, you know, because men aren't necessarily big on emotion, because the black
Right.
man it's
Gotta be tough.
got to be tough at all times. You
Yeah.
know, can't show emotion, can't do, you know, this, and can't do, you know, or not supposed to in the eyes, or you're considered weak. So
Right.
tell me about, you know, this group that you all have brought together, and how that's affecting, you know, the lives of the men that's in there, and what you're trying to do in the community.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm just honored to be a participant. But this program, or this manhood one-on-one has it was constructed by Nate Patterson. He's a community leader here in Dothan. Commissioner Kevin Dorsey. These guys came together and created this thing. And from the first meeting, it was very effective. You had men come in there, you know, like spilling, like letting it come out, like
Mm-hmm.
really venting, and like, oh man, like this is good. Like I love it. And so we've had the second meeting this past week, and it was even bigger turnout. So you see that the men really are taking on to, you know, being able to just build with other men who are really intentional about, you know, helping their fellow men the best way they can. And it offers an opportunity to network. um Whatever you may need some help with, marketing or getting a house built, you know, you don't know who's in the room. And as Kevin says, he says, get to know the room, get to know, you know, who you're dealing with.
Mm.
But just for the most part, it just offers that, it offers that that safe place for men to just come, build, and just sharpen each other up. And
So
I think
I know we're thinking one on one. I know we own it, because I was just thinking safe place, and you
yeah,
said safe place. So
yeah.
definitely so. Um, that leads me to something else. Let's talk communication.
Mm-hmm.
Communication in the man, but
Mm-hmm.
communication in the black man, or
Right.
the lack thereof. Because I've gotten comments on previous episodes and previous seasons and one-on-one conversations where men don't communicate. And in this group that you're in, you're communicating. Let's talk
Right.
about communication in the black man.
Right. Well, for me personally, I've I've struggled with that. Like in my earlier years, like teenager, you know, young adult, just holding things in, not really knowing how to express myself, you know, and then in expressing myself, you know, anger, or, you know, just attitude, and just realizing sometimes, you know, it's just just be fluent, you know, and,
Mhm.
and just really try to relay out what you're saying without all the emotion. Um, and just and you know, attempt to make that connect with the person, you know, who you're attempting to communicate with. But I would say, you know, it's like a thin line, because you do want to have somebody that you can trust in sharing information.
That's the
And
big
so
thing.
that may be something that men struggle with, in a sense, where, I don't, you might try to share this out, and
Right.
I pull my heart out. Now you got me looking like, I'm soft or something,
Right.
when
Let-
I'm really just trying to,
okay. Let's talk about communication in the relationships. Home.
communication builds the relationship.
Now you're
I
talking.
mean, because, like, you know, marriage is cool. Which, the celebrating, all the glitz and glamour, the ceremony in itself, just for me personally, is very spiritual, because it's a bond between, you and another person, and you're creating your own, you and this person. But once all that is over, as they say, the honeymoon phase, like, what do we do from here?
Right.
We don't, so we have to communicate, like, what are our intentions? What are we going to do? What are our goals? And these are the type of conversations that my wife and I have. And it does make it exciting, because it's like it brings a refresher to it when you're constantly setting new goals and creating things together. Like I said, she has her family, I have my family, but now we've created our family.
Right.
And like, I aspire to create such a foundation as my grandmother did, from love, because it's a legacy. Like, I still can't get how she was able to emit so much love out,
Right.
but yeah, just building a solid foundation, and creating a legacy for our now daughter and her kids. So that goes back to that generational wealth.
And
So
now, how does knowing how you came up in a single parent household, how some of maybe your insecurities and your inabilities to communicate effectively, and you knowing now those maybe those limitations,
right.
how can you um how does that help you help another generation? And I understand, we got it in our family, we got it in our household, and what we want to do in our household, but how do we expound that? Because we have now you have people in your community looking at you.
Right.
You got your family, you got your immediate family, you got your,
Right.
your whole family. And then what you're doing, you have a whole community backing you. You have,
Right.
you know what, you have a community coming in looking at, I see what you're doing here. And they're patronizing, they're supporting you. And you got some young men that may not say anything to you,
Right.
but they're
Right.
watching you.
They're
They're
watching. Yeah.
watching you, how they're watching how you move, they're watching how you handle business. And,
Right.
and they may even watch some of your lives and not even say that they're watching your lives.
Right. Right.
What
Right.
can you say to that young man to help build that young man up about effective communication? I know you may not trust anyone, because I know you might have some trust issues. I know you didn't come from the best background. I know you're dealing with this street life, and you really want to come out the streets, but you want this fast money, and you really don't want to go to school, but you want, because you want this money, but you need this education, and everything around you in your community saying, let's go get it, let's get it, let's get it. But you want something more, because a lot of times, we want something that we haven't seen before, but we don't know how to get it.
Right.
How can we help them go get it? How can
And
we help that young black man go get what he really wants the right way?
Right. And you set a plan to action, and then you begin to make those strides towards that. And then it just goes back to what I was saying. You may have a couple of hurdles, some obstacles, but these aren't the things that are going to stop you. You just have to stay persistent in that, and you overcome that, because you covered. And so, and what you were saying, in the sense of, being that we don't have, like certain places we may not have someone to immediately confide in, but maybe you should go out and seek someone that you can confide in, or an accountability partner. Doesn't necessarily have to be a lady. That may just make it a bonus if it is a lady that you can find to confide in, hold you accountable, and build with. But for the most part, especially for the young boys, like, find you somebody that you can confide in, someone that you can talk to and help you, guide yourself in where you want to go. Because we do like to talk to people who can kind of bounce us back the good energy, and like, what, I wouldn't even looking at it from that perspective. I don't have to be that extra or that aggressive about it. Maybe I can take another approach. So sometimes we do have to go outside of, maybe even your immediate kinship.
Yeah. Someone that doesn't even look like you all the time.
Right.
And another thing that I want to, I want to add, and I want you to give me your thoughts on it. As far as talking to someone and having this, and you may not always, it's good if you have found it in a young lady or a young man, your significant other or whatever, but even in the talking and the trust issues, it's okay to say, I'm not okay.
Right.
It's okay to say, I don't know. I need help.
Right.
I think a lot of time, and this not even a man thing. This can be a woman thing.
Yeah.
We don't want to say, I don't
you don't
know.
Want to look handicapped.
Oh, I need help. We have a problem admitting that, I don't know. I want to know, but I don't know. And we can see someone else doing the same thing that we really want to do, and sometimes that can stifle us.
Right.
Now, everything is not going to be roses. Every bed is not going to be a bed of roses and smell good and peaches and cream and all of that, because we run in, like you said, we run into hurdles, we run into snags. That's life. Everything is not, it's going to be bumps in the road. Sometimes you're going to run across people that don't want to help you, because sometimes people are insecure in themselves and they don't want to help you do something because they feel like you're going to be better than them.
Yeah.
So we do. That's we're being real about it. We do run into that all the time, but that's not always the case. And I think that hinders us as well, and it can hinder. I know it can hinder the Black man, because sometimes the man feels like, I can't ask for help, even when it comes down to simple directions. A man will get lost before he asks for directions.
Just pride, yeah.
But at what point should you drop that pride?
As soon as you become aware that you do have too much, like, because I do understand, a sense of pride. I think that is important. But you don't have to be like over prideful to the point where you feel as though you will suffer before you ask for a helping hand. I think that's just a part of life. And I mean, you had mentioned something where you were saying, you just have to continue to nurture yourself, because even your fresh crops still are growing during that bad storm. Like, they're still being nurtured. They made it through the storm, and then they came up. And so I'm just saying, is this not it's just not something that you have to you don't have to keep that, so, and that's to each his own, I guess, because people approach that differently. But I just say, it is important to have a sense of pride, but you don't have to be over prideful to the point where you know that you need help and you would suffer before you would, ask for help. And I do see that. I do see that a lot. I see that a lot in the youth, to where, they feel like, I'm just gonna do what I can. And there are a lot of people who are putting themselves in the forefront saying, I'll help you, just let me know what you need help with.
Right. And
sometimes we do struggle because we don't know what we need help with.
Right. And I was gonna say, be willing and open to change.
Right.
Because sometimes small changes, because we can turn a deaf ear, and one simple little thing that someone can give us, tidbit, caveat, or whatever, can be exactly what we need to take us over the top. But we can be so prideful, or maybe that's just it, so prideful
No,
that we don't
right,
even
right.
want to listen.
Like you said, and I was mentioning it in my live a few days ago. Somebody had dropped that gem, and they were just saying, be open to new ideas and new things. And it's one thing to, to entertain a thought when somebody's talking to you and telling you something. Because I like to listen to everybody. Like if somebody's willing to talk to me, especially if it's an attempt to build up, I'm interested to hear what they have to say, because I don't know what gems they would drop. I don't have to take everything that they tell me and run with it. I just take what could possibly apply to me and make it mine.
Absolutely.
So I think that sometimes is a hindrance, because we just like, man, I don't want to hear that, And I do think it's a disconnect between like the elders and the youth. There's no connection there, because
Right.
you'll sit down with the elder and they like, man, don't nobody listen to me.
Right. But that's what a knowledge is.
Yeah, and
You know,
that's some great information is there.
right.
Yeah,
But because the generations it's because it's such
it's a
it is a
gap.
disconnect, and it is such a gap, you know, that what they're really needing, this younger generation, this older generation can give it to them. But I think, what I think it's because that middle generation is something there that it wasn't bridged. You know what I
Right,
mean? And
right.
so now they're wanting something that they can help them get, but because there's that middle, it's not
I
flowing
mean,
the way it need to really be flowing. Now there's a
yeah,
gap from there, because grandchildren aren't getting from the grandparents what they need to get, because the parents not always doing what they need to be doing by the parents.
right.
And
It
that makes sense. I don't know.
it does,
Yeah.
because it's always gonna boil back to the self accountability, because
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about that. Hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to continue to enhance myself, better myself, recalibrate. Always refreshing and seeing and studying. And seeing how I can, continue to improve. Because how do I look as a hurt person? I don't know how to communicate. I'm always on my emotions. How do I look going out telling these young boys something? And they like, what, bro? You got issues,
You
like,
got issues yourself. And that's
right,
what
right,
they're looking
right,
at. And that's what I think people fail to realize. This younger generation is looking at that. They're talking about that. They're looking for real. I've said this before on like previous episodes, other, previous episodes, and another, season or whatever. I I was raised with, for my adopted mother, she was older. So I got old raising. And then when I went
right,
back with my biological mother, I got that because she had me at a young age. So I got kind of like that young raising too. But I got old raising, then I learned, something. I learned how to survive. So
right,
I got the raising, and I learned how to survive. And what I teach my son is, because I've been on both sides of the spectrum, I know
right,
security, and then I know what it's like not to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what it's like to live in a house with no running water. I know what it's like to live in a house, that we running electricity from a neighbor's house. But I got an upbringing that was stable. But when I went here, I learned how to survive. And because I've
right,
been on both sides of the spectrum, when I'm raising my child, I'm raising my child with a old mentality, like from my
right,
grandmother and my adopted mother, because they were around the same age. But I know what it's
right,
like to be in the hood, though. I know what it's
right.
like to, and I think kids these days, they need that. They need to know stability,
Yeah,
but they need to also know, I've been there. I've been
right.
there. I've
And,
done that. I ain't always been saved. I haven't always been in the church. I know what it's like to be in the club. I know what it's like to drink. I know what it's like to do this, that, and the third.
right.
I ain't no lame for real. I've been there. I just chose a different route because that
Yeah,
wasn't getting me where I really want to be. But a lot of the times, parents don't talk about what they used to do, and it's hurting their children right now.
Yeah, because I can put you on I'm basically putting you on game by telling you what I went through, you know, and you have to be vulnerable. You know, sometimes I think we have to be vulnerable.
Even with our
And
children, and a lot of parents don't want to do that.
yeah, we have to talk about those things because, you know, how do we move forward? Because in a sense, like as a culture, like we have to like unpack like what we come from to know, you know, the direction in which we're trying to go. But also I think we should not because I think that's where like our rap music is. I'm not gonna say it's hip hop, it's just rap music, but it's like it almost glorifies the survival mindset, and we're not really expounding on like thriving. Like, okay, it's one thing to tell me, you know, what you went through, how it was, and I'm offering you that to help create a sense of humility. But now that I know what it was, and I've set you up some building blocks for you to be ahead. Let's talk about thriving.
Absolutely.
So I think sometimes, like in our communities, we like stuck on like the
on that part right there.
Just surviving. You know,
and
all right, let's thrive now.
And that's where you got to find that balance. You got to be able to, like you said, to unpack, I like that. Unpack and be vulnerable and unpack, but to also teach them. We're not glorifying this. I'm just telling you, this is where it was. This is what it was. But we're going beyond that because we're breaking generational curses. We're breaking cycles. We're breaking chains. I went through that. You don't have to go through that. And I'm showing you the way to go beyond that. Just because I did that and I went through that doesn't mean you got to follow that same route. Doesn't mean that you have to go there. It got to stop somewhere. So it stopped with me. I'm teaching you how to be better. I'm showing you what I went through and what I did to teach you how to be better, because I'm not there anymore. But at the same time, that takes us back to what we previously said. You can't teach somebody something if you still in that same thing.
Right. And you're not even attempting to come out of it.
Right. Like we had a comment, pinned a comment on here. The kids of this generation need to learn stability and structure. Absolutely. True. I believe that. Absolutely. They need to learn.
So to touch that comment, so it's like and I always use this as an example. Like I said, man, my mom, she overdosed us with love and made sure that we were straight. You know what I'm saying? And mom was that type of person, like, baby, you like, I got it. I'm gonna get whatever I'm gonna make sure you straight.
I'm gonna make it.
And I understood that because mama was coming from the best place possible. But my mindset was like, okay, mama got me. But then from afar, I would like look at like kids, because some kids had started working like 13, 14, I'm like, dang, but they were really making it happen for themselves, you know what I'm saying? And so I missed that. I missed that concept, at a young age. And I say that to say to these young boys, like, so when you working, so even if you're clocking in, I still think you still can have a sense of entrepreneurship working for another company, working for somebody before you go out and just have it on your own. And I just say that because a lot of these young boys just got a lot of free time.
Yeah.
So to that stability and structure, that helps bring that structure, because now I'm learning how to be responsible for myself, my finances. I can potentially come in and help the household. Hey, mama, here go, bam, here go the water bill. Bam, here go a few, here go some grocery money.
And they ain't thinking like that. They thinking Jay's.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you got the rap music, and then you got the so-called OGs, and neither of these examples are it, but they're opposing the life that the young boys want.
Exactly.
But they're not knowing that you can still get, even if you want the 24s, you can get that if you go to work.
If you go to work,
you can get that if you go to work, and it'll really come back tenfold, because you're helping build the unit. So if I'm still with mama, why not we team up while we here together? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, hey, here you go, mom, on the light bill, or here you go on the groceries. And is so there's it's just out of ordinance because
Right. And
it can be so many variables as to why things are the way that they are. So we just can't point out and say, well, this is why, this is why, this is
right.
why. We can do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can do that all day. So that's why I just say let's just talk about like the solutions. And I think
Exactly.
that's like one of the main things. These boys they need some work.
Right. And you know, in every household, like you said, every situation is not the same. Every household is not the same. You know, you have some parents that don't want their kids to work because maybe they had to work at a young age, this or that,
Right.
you know. And I understand that. I get that because you know, and it's not necessarily. I was about to say I'm one of those parents, but then I would have been telling a lie, and I don't tell a lie. It's not that I don't want my son to work. It's because I've been working since I was 14. So I,
But it
you know,
and not to cut you out, but if you can put your kid in a position where they necessarily don't have to go work for somebody else, cool. Because you can probably help them structure through chores.
I was
You
about,
know
I
what I'm
was,
saying?
yeah,
So
I was
yeah,
about to
so
say.
so I just use that because that's the
No, no,
general
no, no,
option
no.
that's available.
That's good
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's different situations, and every situation, every household is, you know, is different. Because I don't
right,
want anyone to come back and watch that's watching now, maybe watch a replay and say we thinking that all the kids gotta, you know, because there's different situations, different
right,
households.
right,
Now, just because my son, now he did have a job, he worked online during COVID or whatnot, but just because that is, you know, maybe he's not working in someone else's job because
but
of
he's
the
working.
things that he's doing, that he with his academics and his athletics and everything he has. But one thing about it, I do make sure we work because
Right,
what I'm doing and what I'm putting in place, my son works for me. But I'm thankful that I'm able to be in a position that I can, and he handles this job like it's a real job because
I
I'm
don't know any.
teaching.
I don't know any other 12, and this is me personally, but I don't like immediately offhand. I don't know any other. You say he's in the 12th grade.
Right.
I don't know any other 12th grader handling technical analysis for podcasting. I don't know. I don't know anyone doing that immediately. So
And
off
listen,
top,
I'm telling you, people, you know, I know people thinking, you know, I'm talking when I be talking about my son. You saw he was behind the scenes, you know, he run
that's
this. I'm
that's
just the
major.
face.
That's
I'm
major.
literally just sitting in front of the camera. I put everything. I'm just the face. When I tell
That's
you he run all of this, you know, but and he takes it serious. And I'm thankful, but that's something that he wants to do. So I try to feed what he wants to do. And sometimes as parents, we do have to know, you know, we have to get an understanding for what our children are really wanting to do so we can even help them because you know
right.
that plays a big part in it too. You know, our children have talents, and it may be something that we know completely nothing about, and they
Right.
could have gifts and talents that'll take them further than what our mind can comprehend. But that's what we
And
want as parents. We should want
we have to
our
nurture that.
children to be better than us. Sometimes we got to feed what goes to, because no one was there to feed into me for the things that I had talents for. And I
Right.
can't let those things stifle me to help to keep me from doing that for my son. And we
Right.
find that a lot of times in men, they feel like because no one was there for them, that no one helped them, then they not gonna pass it on.
Yeah. You being a gatekeeper.
So, but and so with each situation, with each household, with each individual, we got to find that balance. And like you said, we got to be vulnerable, and we got to unpack. We got to do what we need, and we got it was something that you said, we have to, when we become aware,
Yeah.
you know, and find that safe place. All right,
Yeah.
so check this out. We can keep on going. We can keep on
Yeah.
going.
The build up is
Yes,
unlimited.
the buildup is unlimited. All right, I want you to we're gonna get ready to wind this thing down. But before
Okay.
we do go, I want you to put your handles out there. I want you to, give a little bit. Give me 1 minute of ground up and putting yourself out there in your business and your handles to everybody, even the ones that are just tuning in. Let them know where to find you. Let them know what you're doing. Come on, give us 60 seconds of ground up media.
Yeah, man. It's definitely a community effort. We're creating a community of builders, people who are intentional about building up. And I feel like the bigger that community comes, the more we can broadcast that energy, the more of the world we can touch, and we can change the frequency of the world. Because so many times we hear about, it's so easy to hear negativity, that's the constant mission of GUM, to continuously create a community of builders through whichever outlets, whether that be the apparel, like I said, whether that be our vlogs, our blogs, even our music, because we indulge heavy in the hip hop. We're just always looking to create builders, encourage and inspire builders. You can catch us at Gum is Media. That's on Instagram and Facebook. Loomis Brinks, my social personality. You can catch that through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can also check out the Gum Shop at groundup.media. Groundup.media. You can shop with us. I am a designer, so I like to get in there and just make different pieces. It may be here one day and it's gone the next. So yeah, if you guys can just tap in with us. If you want to support, like I said, you can go to the Gum Shop. We have all sorts: watches, cups, gum builder frames, all sorts of graphic design T-shirts, and it all broadcasts the build up.
Building up. All
Yeah.
right. So this is what I'm gonna try to do. I'm not gonna be able to do it while we're online. I've been pinning comments, people in the comments, so I've been pinning comments while you were talking. But I will make sure I put all of your links. I'll put them in the comments. I had to go back and put them in the comments. I'm gonna try to pin them to the top. Please catch the episode on YouTube. I'll make sure all of your links and everything are on YouTube when we upload it to YouTube. I don't think I did a good job with the YouTube live. It might not be live right now, people.
Hey, it's gonna work out. It's gonna work out.
But
It's
my
gonna work out.
son gonna make sure it get uploaded. Believe that.
See, you see, man, that's
But
major.
I'll make sure I drop all your links, all your handles, everything. The episode will be uploaded to the Unmuted podcast later on in the week. I'll try to have everything in there. We're gonna make it happen. All right, don't you leave. I'm gonna put you in queue. I'm gonna do our little
Man,
roundup, and we want to
yeah,
thank everybody for tuning in. Hang tight.
definitely. Thank everybody, man. Major build up energy. Major build up energy.
Major build up energy. I don't know if you caught those last words, but major build up energy. All right, so. Man, we're a little bit over our time. This was so good. There were so many nuggets. I see all the comments. Thank you all for tuning in. I mean, like, I try to take little nuggets. He was going, staying consistent. Definitely staying consistent. And this is not for, we're not downing any other race and any other ethnicity. This is to put a different perspective out there for the black man, because there's so much going on with the black man right now. We want to show the black man you can thrive aside from your situation, whatever your past was, whatever you have already gone through. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you've been locked up. I don't care if you're locked up right now. You get out, you can do something. You can build up. Ground up media. You can
From the
build up
ground.
from the ground up. And that is what it's
Man.
all about. I want you to know that you can have whatever you set your mind to. You might have to tap into talking to someone else. It may be someone that doesn't look like you. It may be someone of another race, another gender, whatever it might be. We can't do everything alone. If it was meant for us to
Right.
do it alone, God wouldn't put all these people on earth with us. But
Right.
you can build from the ground up. Build it up from the ground up. I want to say thank you to my guest that came on. Being vulnerable and unpacking. Man, that one right there, that was major. Being vulnerable and unpacking. We got to unpack that hurt. We got to unpack that pain. We got to unpack all of those things that's holding us down so we can release not just the black men, we all need to unpack this mess and then release so we can become better. Because hurt people hurt people. When you release the hurt, when you release the pain, when you release that past, it can walk you into your future. Your mind is clear on what you want to do, what you can do, what you're setting your mind to do. Build up from the ground up. It doesn't matter if an inheritance wasn't left to you. It doesn't matter if nobody helped you. If you got to get it on, get it for yourself, getting it out the mud. I understand getting it out the mud. That's all right. You got to start somewhere. If it has to start with you to leave an inheritance for your children, let it start with you. Don't worry about what you didn't have. Don't worry about what you don't have right now. Believe me, there are plenty of resources out there. You just got to tap into it. Build up from the ground up. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Unmuted. I want to say thank you to my guest, Jameze Hinton. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on Twitter. Luma.
Gum is media.
Gum is media. Gum Round Up Media. Gum, you'll see the acronym Gum. If you saw it, check him out. If you saw him, his background, his shirt, he advertising Gum. I'm gonna need a few more gum pieces because
we're gonna make that happen. We're
gonna make that happen because I need some more gum. Now, if you catch season 2, you check me out. I was wearing my gum because I am a supporter. I am. Love is what love does. But again, we're over our time. We are well over our time. But this was such a good night. Thank you again for tuning in to season 3, episode number 4 of Unmuted. The series right now that we have going on is Black Men Thrive. Our special guest tonight was Jameze Hinton, from CEO and founder of Ground Up Media, Gum. Listen, we're on different platforms now. We're on Facebook. You can catch us on Facebook Live. You can catch us on Facebook. Go back and watch season 1, season 2 episodes. They're all on Facebook. You can catch season 3, the episodes even up until now. Familiarize yourself. Go on, catch it. It's on Facebook, Unmuted. Catch us also on YouTube. We are now on YouTube. Now listen, every episode from the previous seasons are not all on YouTube yet, but we are releasing. We're releasing every week. So there are episodes from the previous seasons and there are the episodes from season 3. Before you know it, everything will be up there. So just follow this Unmuted train. We're also on podcast. Unmuted has a podcast, people. It was supposed to be one single live. And here we are, season 3, the 4th episode. We're on Facebook. We on Twitter. No, we're not on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. And we have a podcast. Check us out on Spotify, the Unmuted podcast. Look, we coming to a platform near you. Thank you again for tuning in. I am Felicia Franklin, your moderator, your host, your social butterfly, whatever you want to call me. Catch us the same time, the same place next Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, or watch the replay. I appreciate you. You all have a safe and wonderful night. Be blessed and have a great week.
Keep building up.
Keep building up.
Yeah.